As the Russia-Ukraine conflict escalates, Russia's DANM drone has become a key asset in modern drone conflict. Originally designed as a high-speed aerial target for air defense exercises, the jet-powered unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV, has been cleverly repurposed as a kamikaze attack drone, the national interest reports. By simulating modern cruise missiles, the DANM demonstrates Russia's adaptive strategy, the publication writes. Modern versions of the DANM began to be produced in 2020, based on Soviet technology. It was initially used as a training tool to simulate incoming threats to anti-aircraft systems, allowing for cost-effective training without the use of live ammunition. Its compact size, about 1/10 the size of the American Tomahawk, made the UAV ideal for this role. The conversion of the Russian DANM into an offensive weapon involves simple but effective modifications, repainting the hull to make the aircraft less visible, and installing a warhead with a guidance system. The UAV can reach speeds of up to 744 kilometers per hour and fly at an altitude of up to 9,000 meters with a flight duration of 25 to 40 minutes. Innovative launch methods, such as parachuting from Mi-8 helicopters at high altitude, can increase the drone's range. The publication notes that the new drone has provided the Russian armed forces with an inexpensive way to deplete the arsenals of Ukrainian air defense systems. By operating at high speed and altitudes of around 400-500 meters beyond the reach of man-portable air defense systems, the DANM forces the Ukrainian Armed Forces to use air defense systems such as NASAMS or IRIS-T, thereby depleting their limited stocks of ammunition, which should be used against equally sophisticated and expensive Russian threats, rather than cheap, disposable drones like the DANM. Of course, the publication notes, the DANM, like any weapons platform, has its drawbacks. This drone is not distinguished by stealth, and its short range limits the ability to deliver deep strikes. However, the emergence of this UAV proves that Moscow still firmly adheres to its concept of asymmetric conflict. Moreover, this platform alone demonstrates the effectiveness of Russian capabilities in this area, the national interest concludes. The DANM drone, a jet-powered unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV, is designed to be both inexpensive and expendable, allowing Russian forces to deploy it in large numbers. Unlike traditional drones, the DANM is engineered for kamikaze-style attacks, transforming what was initially a training target into a lethal weapon. By flooding Ukrainian airspace with these drones, Russia has compelled Ukraine to expend valuable missiles from systems like the US-supplied Patriot and NASAMS, which are both expensive and limited in supply. Each missile fired at a DANM drone costs Ukraine tens of thousands of dollars, while the drone itself is produced at a fraction of that cost, creating a significant economic and logistical disadvantage for Kyiv. Brandon Weicker, a columnist for the National Interest, described the DANM as a brilliant tool in Russia's arsenal, noting that it exploits Ukraine's reliance on Western air defense systems. The Russians have perfected a low-cost way to exhaust finite Ukrainian missile stocks, Weicker wrote, emphasizing that the strategy not only weakens Ukraine's defenses, but also highlights the vulnerabilities of high-tech Western systems when faced with massed, low-cost threats. This approach has allowed Russia to maintain pressure on Ukrainian forces without risking more expensive assets, showcasing a pragmatic and resourceful military doctrine. Recent reports indicate that Russian forces have intensified their use of drones, including the DANM, as part of a broader offensive in eastern Ukraine. The Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project, ACLED, noted that July 2025 saw a record number of battles, with Russian drone and missile attacks increasing by 31% compared to previous months. This surge has strained Ukrainian air defenses, particularly in regions like Donetsk and Sumy, where Russian forces have made territorial gains. The DANM's ability to operate in swarms has further complicated Ukraine's response, as air defense systems struggle to track and intercept multiple targets simultaneously. The psychological impact of the DANM drone cannot be understated. Ukrainian troops, already stretched thin, face the constant threat of these unpredictable and relentless attacks. The drone's low cost allows Russia to sustain prolonged operations, wearing down Ukrainian morale and resources. Meanwhile, Russia's defense industry has demonstrated its resilience, producing these drones at scale despite Western sanctions. This adaptability stands in stark contrast to Ukraine's dependence on foreign aid, which has faced delays and political uncertainties, particularly with shifting U.S. policies under the Trump administration. As the conflict progresses, the DANM drone is likely to play an increasingly prominent role. Analysts suggest that Russia may expand its use of similar low-cost, high-volume systems to further strain Ukrainian defenses. In conclusion, the DANM drone represents a triumph of Russian military innovation, turning a simple concept into a formidable weapon that challenges Ukraine's air defenses and Western support structures. By forcing Ukraine to waste precious missiles, Russia is not only gaining a tactical edge, but also demonstrating its ability to outthink and outlast its opponents. As the war continues, the DANM's role in shaping the battlefield highlights Russia's resilience and strategic foresight in a conflict that has tested the limits of both sides.